Well, yes, we're now going to take a higher look. And over the Christmas break, and as we enjoyed Christmas and New Year's, we stepped away from what we had been reading in Judges regarding Samson and Samson's life and the inconsistencies that we see as we have been looking at the life of Samson. And what I'd like to pick up at this point is that he got mixed up with this Philistine woman there in Timnah, and we saw how his weaknesses and flaws shone through, and how he brought his parents unwittingly into his sin and disobedience to God. I think the tactic of the enemy, he's consistent, and that same playbook he wants to keep using, and we're going to see that here as we take a look here again at Samson as he moves on into adulthood. And we're going to be reading again from Judges, and we're going to start in Judges chapter 16, verses 1 and 2. Now this will be we'll again, Judges chapter 16, verses 1 and 2. Now Samson went to Gaza and saw a harlot there and went into her. When the Gazites were told, Samson has come here, they surrounded the place and lay in wait for him all night at the gate of the city. They were quiet all night, saying, "In the morning, when it is daylight, we will kill him." So we see here again, as we saw earlier in Samson's life, the same weaknesses, the same flaws. And we made note that, but the Spirit of the Lord came on Samson, and we saw the tremendous strength. You just see this weakness again and again. But God is still using Samson, and you want to. The enemy has a playbook, and the enemy wants to take down you and I down. And in Samson's case, he was, taking his eyes off God, doing his own thing, wanting what he wanted, and we see him falling there into sin. But the enemy, the Bible talks about the enemy, seeking whom he may desire, out to hurt us or ensnare us. And that's what I'd like us to take a look at too. The enemy's playbook. If he knows our weaknesses, and he will keep coming at us when it comes to in those weaknesses, and that playbook that the enemy wants to try and take us down. He continually brings those things that are weaknesses, and he continually uses that playbook to hurt us, to make us ineffective, and that's what he wants to do. I'd like us to take a look here in Timothy, 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 19. Nevertheless, the solid foundation of God stands, having his seal. The Lord knows those who are his, and let everyone who names the name of Christ depart from iniquity. Now, God wants the best for you and I. And that's where we know him. He loves us, and he wants us, that he doesn't want us to get entangled and snared. That God wants us to resist the enemy, and not to get caught up in those iniquities, in those things that would hurt us. And we see here God bringing forth that message of, departing. Don't get tangled up and ensnared in sin and iniquity. It also talks there in 2 Timothy, those things that God wants us to embrace, and to seek those things that are going to bless us and not hurt us, that's going to lift us up and not tear us down. And again, looking at Samson's life, I think this really, it comes to a point of to learning what not to do, learning what we need to, resist, and not to get caught up in those things that would ensnare us. And God gives us his word to show us and to, put those warning signs up, things not to do and not to get caught up in. And I think, the life of Samson, we kind of see that, and we will see that even more as we take a look further at Samson as he gets involved with Delilah. But I'd like us to take a look at 2 Timothy chapter 2. This time we'll be looking in verse 26. And now they may come to their senses and escape the snare of the devil, having been taken captive by him to do his will. So we see here a picture, the enemy, Satan wanting to snare, setting a trap for us, knowing our weaknesses, and then setting about to ensnare us and to trap us into captivity, to do his bidding. And that's Satan wants to destroy us. Satan wants to make us ineffective, make our witness ineffective, and weaken us, and to destroy us. That's what Satan's game plan is, to bring us down and to destroy us. And again, that's that ensnaring us, setting that trap, using the same playbook that would trap us in and ensnare us. And that's what the enemy wants to do against us, to tear us down. And we're in looking at the life of Samson, we're seeing those same weaknesses that Satan knows that playbook, and continually uses those areas to ensnare us. And again, as I mentioned, the life of Samson is, when we look, we can see those guardrails, those stop signs, to do not to get ensnared and trapped and fall prey to our own desires, our own will, and the lust of the flesh. And as we've seen the example of here of Samson, but God wants us to draw near to him. He'll keep us if we keep our eyes on him. But when we take our eyes off him, that's when we can fall prey to the snares and the influence of the enemy who wants to come in and destroy us. And when we look here at Samson getting caught up and seeing the enemy wanting to come in and think that they're going to kill him that morning, but again, God blessed and the Spirit of the Lord came on Samson, and he turned the table on them, and he is not killed, but his great strength at that point, he got up, and instead of in the morning, he got up at midnight and tore the gates right off basically off the hinges, and picked everything up, and in that city, and they did not kill him. But again, that the enemy wanting to come in and ensnare us and entrap and put us in that snare, and like a prey being trapped. That's what the enemy wanted, and we saw a picture of that. Those men thinking that that's exactly what they were going to do to Samson, to kill him. But God had a plan for Samson, and that wasn't going to happen. And we see that take place there in Judges. But now we're going to we're going to be taking a look at Samson coming across Delilah, and what took place there with Samson and Delilah. And next week we'll take a look there and see what lessons we can glean, or what stop signs or warning signs we can take a look at when it came to Samson and Delilah. That's my perspective and comments.